Force Majeure, also known as Tourist. Now, please ignore the awful poster. I promise that the movie is much, much better. Also, ignore the IMDb official description, which is, I quote, "A family vacationing in the French Alps is confronted with a devastating avalanche." Now, this description, along with the poster, really makes it seem like some sort of catastrophe survival movie, which this isn't. It's a character-driven drama which explores confronting your idea of who you are and how you present yourself to others with who you actually turn out to be when faced with an unexpected situation. The story revolves around a Swedish family of 4 who are vacationing in the Alps. They went there for a 5-day skiing trip. On the second day, there is in fact an avalanche, but it's a controlled one, deliberately triggered by the people that maintain the resort. Our family is eating lunch at the restaurant on the side of the mountain along with other people, and as that is happening, and initially they all think that it's safe, that the avalanche is clearly controlled, then the avalanche starts getting closer and closer and people begin to panic. It seems to actually be on its way to hit the restaurant. Everything goes white, but it turns out it actually was controlled. It was just a mostly harmless cloud of snow dust that covered the place for 2 minutes and then passes. It's fine. Nobody's hurt. People go back to eating. But in that split second of panic, the wife clutches the 2 small children while the husband straight up just boots it. He runs away from the open balcony. And this instinctive decision will then cast a shadow on the family relations for the rest of the trip and will serve as a setup for a pretty deep philosophical discussion. On the most surface level, about the human instincts and how one person is trying to save their loved ones while the other thinks of their own safety first and foremost. But then it goes deeper because in one brilliant dialogue scene of many, the wife points out that she's not actually mad about the situation itself, but she just cannot understand why the husband is insisting after the fact that he didn't run away, that it's not how he remembers it. And that then changes the whole discussion because suddenly it becomes a whole different question, a confrontation between this idealized image that this man has of himself and is trying to project outward, and the reality coming in to destroy that image. I think it's an exploration of pride, of inability to admit your own flaws and discuss your fears and shortcomings in an adult way. And then as we see the husband and wife try to process that together as well as separately, I think it also turns into this sort of deconstruction of masculinity, or rather the fake masculinity that is focused on maintaining face and always having an excuse or an explanation or a reasoning, but never being able to actually just straight up admit, I fucked up, I showed weakness, I have to work to change this. Or perhaps even more incomprehensibly for some, I might be unable to change it. The main character grapples with these thoughts throughout the film. On the other hand, his wife has to struggle with how her image of the husband is now shattered, and on top of that you have the kids for whom this rock of safety and stability is now cracking. I think it's a fascinating philosophical debate in the form of a film. I loved how the setting of the ski resort, which seems mostly empty with the quiet white slopes without any humans in them, serves almost like an actual whiteboard on which the characters have to redefine their dynamics. Also, at times, even the smaller scenes are brilliantly shot, with some characters deliberately slightly out of frame or using mirrors in a clever way to show us something else happening in the scene. I also like the inclusion of the side characters, which offer their perspectives as well and serve as these sort of additional voices in the discussion, and also sometimes bring a little bit of levity. I think that there is more than one bit of slightly dark humor in here. I think the music is very good as well. And on a final note, I thought that the ending is quite brilliant. First with the final skiing day and what happens to the husband and wife, which can certainly be read as a manufactured way to rebuild the previously destroyed image, and then what are the consequences of that. And right after that, the sort of surprise reversal, with what happens on the bus, where suddenly it's like the director is saying to us, okay, we've covered this whole topic from every angle, there's nothing else to say, but what if we flipped the discussion all the way around? Almost like a tease for a non-existent next chapter, in reality just serving as food for thought for us, for the audience, to consider what would happen if we continued this discussion with the new information from the last scenes. All in all, I was really impressed with the film. It's one of those quiet movies which seem very ordinary on the surface, but actually are incredibly rich in terms of the debate that they propose. I think it's extremely well executed and ends up using very few tools to be quite riveting. Really good film.